Good day, I'm Hybri van Niekerk and I'm the owner of Paarl Historical Walk and Tours. I've been in the tourism business since 2005. I was the previous marketing coordinator of Paarl Tourism, and which actually was the beginning of my career in tourism. Myself, I was born here in Paarl in 1975, so I'm the same age as the Afrikaans language monument. But ever since I was a little girl, I was quite interested in the history of Paarl, and I was brought up with my grandmother. My grandmother, she was a lady that had a lot of passion for what happened in her town, and that is actually what triggered me to become a tourist guide. And you will see that during my tours I like to talk, I like to communicate, I like to tell the history, let people know what is going on and what happened hundreds of years ago. Just to show you the passion that I have for what I do. I've started my business in 2017. Before that I was the curator of het Gestig Slave Museum. After my episode at Paarl Tourism, the chapter in my life, and after that I became the curator of het Gestig Slave Museum. And with all of this I did a lot of research, family research, and that actually took me further back into history and how it is to dig for answers and stuff. And that actually gave me the idea, after I became a tourist guide in 2012, to start my own business, focus on the history, not so much on wine tasting, because if you get like a tourist guide or tourist guides, they like to focus on taking people from one wine farm to another, and you know, they don't talk as much as like what I want to do and explain stuff to the visitors. So I focus on the history. We do historical walks. We are going to do a historical walk today, but what I also do is I do exclusive tours with my vehicle, where I take visitors from the historic wine farms, tell them the history about what happened there and how everything started, and then we do a few bit of wine tasting, but not as much. People, they listen and they are quite educated when they leave Paarl. Farms along the Berg River. The farms reached from Paarl Mountain to the Berg River, and at that time the architectural styles of the houses, if you look at the one on my right, that was more how a Cape Dutch house looked like. Cape Dutch means that it was built in the architectural style of the Dutch houses, but the Dutch East India Company, they had to use the material that they could find here at the Cape. So that's why we call it Cape Dutch house. We are standing in front of a beautiful example of one built in 1818, and the gable, right in the beginning, the houses didn't have gables. It was like the thatch just came and stopped. but after a while, with the rain, and if you have, especially when you have a visitor coming to you, standing in front of your door, and the water will pour down on them. And also in the case of when there were a fire, then if you have to evacuate your house to get all your valuables out of the house, then the roof could cave in on you. So that's why we have the gables today, because the gables was actually installed as a safety measure so that you can exit your house in the case of a fire. Because you had to make a plan with the water restrictions, and a lot of the water, especially the properties in the main road, they've got poor holes. Paarl got its name from the mountain at the back, Paarl Rock, and the name was given to the valley in 1957 when Jan van Riebeeck sent a company of men under the leadership of Abraham Gabema on the 19th of October 1657, after they found that the Khoi people that stayed here at the time, who was actually the first inhabitants of the Western Cape, when they moved away from the coast inland with their cattle. They were the herders, they had the farmers, and they had the cattle. And you can imagine the Dutch East India Company had to provide fresh meat, water and vegetables to the passing ships on their way to the east. And as the Khoi moved away inland, because they were the only people that Jan van Riebeeck could barter with to get fresh meat, they had the cattle, the sheep, the cows and everything. And as the Khoi moved away inland, Jan van Riebeeck had to send from his company soldiers to go and trade with the Khoi in the Drakensberg Valley. And it was about 3 days that it took them to get here in alongside the banks of the Berg River. And it was raining that night, and Abraham Gabema, when he woke up the following morning and he turned around when the sun was shining on our beautiful mountain at the back, it shone like diamonds and pearls in the sunlight. And the Dutch word for pearl is Paarl, P-A-R-E-L, and it was first called Paarl, and later on it became Paarl, P-A-A-R-L. The Khoi who lived here first, my forefathers, they named the mountain Tortoise Mountain because it looked like the shell of a tortoise. But today we call it Paarl Mountain.